So, greetings and welcome to SEM Mondays live open Q&A show, which is now a weekly live show on right here on YouTube. And I'm excited about this. I'm excited to switch from twice a month to a weekly format and decided to make this change so that you would have a more consistent way of being able to ask me questions live and in real time. Mostly because I created SEM Mondays as a way to be able to support folks who are new and relatively new to source energy medicine, so that you'd be able to quickly and easily get the answers to your questions. Because I don't know about you, if I'm trying something new and I have a lot of questions and I can't find the answers easily, I tend to not stick with it. I tend to go on to something else. So I don't want that to happen. So here we are. I think it's a good idea to schedule some Mondays into your weekly calendar. Schedule it as a recurring event so that you don't miss anything. And gosh, God willing, I will be here every Monday at 11:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I apologize. 1:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11:11 here where I am Mountain Standard Time, and 10:10 a.m. for the folks on the Pacific Coast. So, as you can see from the live chat, I absolutely love emojis. So if you are indeed new, whether you're watching this live or in replay, you can use the live chat or the chat in the replay. Shoot some emojis, thumbs up. That's a great place to ask questions. And just in case you don't know already, gosh, I hope you do, but my name is Stephen Pollitt, and I created Source Energy Medicine back in 2005, really 2004, and I've been sharing it since 2005. And if you are indeed new, here is how the SEM Mondays live open Q&A works. This is indeed your time, and most weeks I'll have some questions that have come in by email or questions that have been posted inside the free mini course, the Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide. And if you are live, you have the opportunity to type your questions into the chat box. And I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can in the time that we have together today. And some Mondays are designed to be super short for even the busiest people. So 11 minutes is what we have. And it's very intentional. So it's going to be a kind of a quick moving. I tend to talk fast when I know I have only 11 minutes to cover everything that I have to cover. And recently we have received so many, really an overwhelming number of emails from folks who are highly concerned about pandemics and the various nasty flus that are going around, and colds, the kind of colds that we're getting a lot of questions about, or the colds that tend to be long lasting, or it seems like getting better and then kind of comes back and they have a long lingering cough. So I'm going to focus most of our time, if not all of our time together today, answering these questions, mostly because it's important, right? It's important, and this is something that I think a lot of folks are concerned about today. So I'll do my best to get to the heart of the matter of all of these issues, answering as many questions as I possibly can in this conversation, and then we'll see where we are time-wise. But most of the questions that have come in are questions that all center around, can source energy medicine be used prophylactically to help to ensure that I don't experience any of these things, right? And interestingly enough, source energy medicine can be, and yet I'm highly confident that it's not in the way that you're likely thinking of. So from my perspective, what determines whether or not you will get any of these, various colds or flus or worse that is going around, to a very large degree depends on how the molecules, literally how the molecules in your physical form, in your physical body, how they are expressing themselves. And by that, I mean literally how those molecules are, if you were to measure them, how they're calibrated. And if you don't know what I mean when I talk about calibrated energy, this is the lifelong work of Dr. David Hawkins, best-selling Hay House author. Wayne Dyer was a huge fan of Dr. Hawkins' work and research, and I created an entire video. It's available on our YouTube channel. It's all about calibrated energy levels. So all you have to do is go to YouTube and type in Source Energy Medicine, calibrated energy levels and healing, and check out that video, and it'll, all of this will make a whole lot more sense in terms of calibrated energy level. But for today, the short version is that all pathogens, all dis-ease, and in fact all areas of imbalance that anyone could ever experience on Dr. David Hawkins' scale would calibrate very, very low. So the only way to experience a cold or a flu, or for that matter anything that runs in your family's genes, is if the physical aspect of your being calibrates in very close proximity to the specific challenge. And on the Hawkins scale, it would literally be within a point or two of the calibration of that particular challenge. And if you stay there long enough and enough of your cells replicate, that's how imbalance and dis-ease manifests in the physical form. So if you are indeed following along this logic, then I hope you realize that the best thing that you could possibly do in every regard is to achieve and maintain a calibration of not only the physical aspect of your being, but from my perspective, I want every aspect of my being to calibrate high on the Hawkins scale. And ideally at my ideal energy level, which is to say in alignment with my higher self or my soul. So there is so much talk, it seems like the last 15 or more years, about the law of attraction, which from my perspective is actually a lesser law. It's a lesser law than the overarching and ever pervading, like it's always there, universal law of cause and effect. So law of attraction is actually a lesser law of cause and effect. So if you really think about it, it's the calibration of each aspect of my being that is acting as the cause, right? It is serving as the cause. And then what I experience as the result, that's the effect. And the effect is what I experience in my life, whether it's physically or mentally or financially or in relationships. It is all a cause and effect relationship. So I want to be really clear about this, just in case you don't already know. The source energy medicine that we use to transform our calibration, really transform the calibration of every aspect of our being from wherever it currently is to our ideal energy level, is Source Energy Medicine Energy Level Progression Fusion number 1, or ELPF1 for short. So, without this awareness or without this ability, I think we would have Source Energy Medicine would be very effective short term, but it would not be very effective long term. And it is because of, on my own healing journey, experiencing that transformation from a low calibrating energy level for my life up until Source Energy Medicine, which is one of the main reasons why I experienced so many challenges that I had, both what are considered to be acquired as well as inherited, and why since 2005 I haven't had a cold or a flu or anything like that, and not any of the signs or symptoms of any of the things that were believed to be inherited. So I hope this all makes sense. And there's another clip on our YouTube channel that I think would be also helpful to this conversation. It's the one where I talk about the root cause of all dis-ease, all imbalance. So, and if this doesn't make any sense to you, check out those other two videos, or type something into the chat box, whether you're watching live or in replay, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. Now, I will say of course, but maybe it's not of course. It's maybe you don't know that we do have source energy medicines that are specifically designed, specifically created with the intention to transform pathogens. Pretty much every pathogen that you could ever possibly imagine, and they're all encompassing. Like, we only have one that cover all bacteria, because all bacteria vibrate within the same frequency. So we have different source energy medicines, and you can simply look through the source energy medicine People's Desk reference, or gosh, more than half of my book, Heal Thyself, is reference, and you can see which transformation numbers are for virus or bacteria or disease or residues. And we even have source energy medicines for mycoplasma and prions, which are these superbugs. They're antibiotic resistant. They're resistant to all forms of pharmaceutical treatment. And these are the ones that typically are why we experience pandemics. So, the conversation around, how to best employ individual source energy medicines, that conversation gets, so once you have a challenge, right? Once you have a cold or a flu or something worse, knowing, so mastering source energy medicine and being able to know which source energy medicines to use first and second and third, and what to use if that's not working. That's the kind of conversation that is that takes place inside of our fundamentals online workshops. And it certainly does require understanding things that go way beyond the free mini course. Like, I can't teach this stuff here in 11 minutes, and I certainly can't teach this stuff inside the quick start guide, but it is stuff that I do teach in depth, to how to best employ source energy medicines for both acute challenges and challenges that appear to be chronic. So so I hope that understanding the logic, right? I mean, if you think about it, when the plagues swept through Europe, not 100% of the people died, right? Women, not too long ago, we had massive breakthrough in genetic research, and have identified genes like the BRCA genes, right? That a mutation of that BRCA gene leads to a very high likelihood that women are going to experience some form of cancer, breast cancer or ovarian cancer. And yet not 100% of the women who test positive for the BRCA gene, and even test positive, in multiple tests to make sure it is accurate, they don't experience any of those cancers that are associated. A lot of experts would say it's lifestyle. And while I am a huge fan of having a healthy lifestyle, there are some women who have extremely, impeccably healthy lifestyles, and they experience those cancers. And there are some women who would be characterized as not leading a healthy lifestyle, and they don't. So for me, the reason why, whether anyone experiences any challenge, has to do with the calibration of the physical aspect of the being, or the area of life that we're talking about. So I hope that makes sense. We are beyond our 11 minutes, but I wanted to make sure that, I think this is really, really helpful. I think it's very empowering conversation, knowing that, yes, we can use source energy medicine proactively to help to ensure that I don't get a cold or a flu or any of the nasty stuff that goes around. But before I run, I want you to know that next week I'm going to be out of town, and I won't be here live. And yet we have a special playlist that we will be releasing on our YouTube channel. And it's a 3-video playlist, and it all centers around the source energy medicine sample protocol. It's really in-depth, and it answers a lot of excellent questions, like when to add individual source energy medicines to the sample protocol, when's an ideal time, what if I can use, or can I use dowsing or muscle testing to modify or to mess with the sample protocol, and then there's a video that's all about a very, very simple yet very profound form of finger muscle testing, so that you could, with a little bit of practice, learn to master that, and then you can test the test list to see the Source Energy Medicine PDR, which is also known as the test list, to see which Source Energy Medicines would be most helpful. So there's a lot of excellent content, and those 3 videos are all interrelated, and it is kind of next level conversation to this one that we're having here today. So I wish you continued blessings on your journey with Source Energy Medicine, and I will see you back here live on YouTube in 2 weeks. Bye for now.